sex sucks. This is a part of every single endowment session you go to. Women have to veil their faces because guess what? We're not worthy of showing our faces. Try to tell a 23-year-old girl you're not going into a cult. These were all pictures that I had taken like coming out of Mormonism, I guess, where I could start to be more free and like confident and embrace my sexuality. So what I can tell you is what I'm wearing and what I'm doing in these pictures is a no-go.
As a Mormon, Sarah used to believe that pornography, masturbation, and sex outside of marriage were sinful. But when she left the LDS church, her views on sex changed completely. For Brut, I went to Utah to see how Sarah saved her marriage by exploring kinks with her husband and creating Mormon-themed porn.
This is what I would do. I would walk to the temple every single day and write in this journal, I love you, Lord, and thank you so much for giving me James. There's just quite a few. I'm trying to grab all the materials so I can show you what different materials we had to wear. I mean, how sexy is that? So, oh, you see these little symbols too. The navel mark represents the need of constant nourishment to the body and spirit. And then the knee mark represents that every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess that Jesus is the Christ. So this is the knee that you should kneel on. I've been told I make them look really good. Men will pay me money to wear these, and it's usually Mormon men.
How do you go from there to being a porn content creator?
I like how you say porn content creator. I'm kind of an impulsive person to begin with. When I go into something, I just kind of throw myself into it. And then I realized, I was like, I could actually have some fun deconstructing a lot of the stuff that I still have weighing me down with the Mormon church, and I can create content surrounding that. I can make new memories with these clothes. I'm able to explore as I'm creating. Like your modern day businesswoman. Just shipping calendars. This calendar like means a lot to me. Like I never would have thought, like I started in April when I started to become more sexually liberated. I don't know if you could show that kind of stuff, but these were all pictures that I had taken like coming out of Mormonism, I guess, where I could start to be more free and like confident and embrace my sexuality. So this is the Mormon garments, and believe it or not, people always want this. So it's like a kink, I don't know. I guess we can go to my profile. It's pretty explicit, but it isn't OnlyFans, yeah. It's kind of funny that I like do porn now. I was like so against it. Yeah, so this like more garment stuff. Oh, I made a joke. Do you like my white undies? I think they messaged me and said I'd prefer it if they were longer. Yeah.
I went with Sarah and James to meet up with Natasha Helfer. She's one of the leading sex therapists in Utah working with Mormons and ex-Mormons. In the LDS community, it remains really taboo to speak out in favor of sexual liberation, so James asked me not to show his face.
We've worked a lot on like our sex life leaving the church, but the one thing that still lingers is and we've worked on it where we're like, okay, I'm not even gonna ask anymore, but this like urge to ask him if he's looking at porn, and I don't know how to like get past that because I genuinely don't care, but I was kind of put into this accountability role when we were members, and I can't I'm still working on getting past that.
It's a lot better. Like I remember one day she literally like threw stuff out of the closet. She was like,
I was so mad.
In a rage. I feel like that was the religion putting that on her and making her feel that way, in a way. So, I don't know, but there's still some remnants of that, but it's definitely not the way that it used to be.
There's one thing, though, that I will say. He has a defensive mechanism when I'm asking just to, I'm just checking in to make sure like we're good. Then he gets defensive because he's used to me being like,
I mean, you've been you've been monitored since you were probably about 11 and a half, 12 years old in regards to your sexuality. And so a big part of deconstructing and coming into your sexual maturity as an adult male at this point is probably rejecting all of that. And especially because it sounds like you were very devout in regards to your sexual confessions, to being, you know, on top of this almost self-monitoring. It wasn't just wife monitoring and bishop monitoring, you were self-monitoring. So if you're up here on the pendulum of that, you have a long way to fall to come to the other side of that pendulum. So I'm guessing you're still on this defensive side of the pendulum, like hell to the no, I don't want to be monitored at all.
Exactly. Yeah.
At all. And that's great for you individually, not so great for your marriage. Right? I want to normalize that it hasn't been that long since you've been through what I would consider a monumental transition, a transition that kind of cuts to the core of your entire identity, right? A faith transition, especially from a high demand religion. Yeah. And so it seems to me like you've deconstructed quite a bit, and it's unrealistic that every part of that is going to be gone.
Honestly, I don't have any qualms about her doing anything. She's in charge of her body. I'm not going to tell her what to do. I don't feel like it's right for another person to tell somebody else, even your own spouse, how they should live. Now, we obviously have to have some type of, boundaries, and we have to kind of discuss what we're okay with. But honestly, I don't feel like I should control her, and I don't feel the need to, because I just don't think it's right. I don't want someone controlling me and what I do, so why would I want to control her in that way?
So when we left the Mormon church, the therapist that my husband was seeing from Natasha's practice, she gave him a sex contract for us to go over.
What typically is in a sex contract?
Like just basically what you're okay with, like the boundaries that you have in your relationship, what you're okay with, what you're not okay with. Blindfold, yes. Bondage, yes. Even though we never did anything.
But we want to explore that.
Yes.
Okay.
Cock ring, yes. Costumes, yes. Couple massage, yes. Cross-dressing.
No.
Dirty talk.
Yes.
Domination.
Yes.
Double penetration.
Yes.
Viewing porn.
Yes.
You said no.
I know, but that's why we're updating it. So yes, that's fine.
Sex clubs.
Yes.
That actually says maybe right now.
Well, we're changing it to a yes. We've already gone, so yes.
Webcam sex.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Why? What do you feel about that?
I don't know. Like the thought of you like going on a webcam with a girl and having personal conversations. And maybe that's, I know this is going to sound so hypocritical, but maybe it's because I've done that.
So you're not okay with that?
So we're just going to put
maybe.
Yes together, no alone.
Maybe. Well, I mean, you can do it alone though.
I don't want to though.
But you do though.
I do it for work. Like it's different. I'm not going on there because I want to. Like, I mean, sure, it's enjoyable, but we'll just put that down as a yes together, and that's it's.
And not address the single.
Yeah, we'll address that another time. I'm still funny on that.
Okay.
It's like a stressful process going over.
Not for me.
I know it's easy for him because it's like a yes to everything, but like considering how many no's we turned into yeses, I feel like we're doing really well. Don't you think?
Yeah, it doesn't all have to be yeses.
Mm-hmm.
It's all good.
Yeah.
And where are we headed right now?
To a club, and it's not our first time, but it is our first time at this one, which will be interesting. It's like going on a date with your partner, but in a different way. Like you're going on a date to like flirt with other people. It's weird. In case you do bring somebody back, you gotta clean your room up. So I was laying the toy out and I'm like, I don't have lube. And he's like, did you bring condoms? And I was like, nope, I forgot the condoms. So that's just assuming something is gonna happen, you know? It's better to be prepared. So that's where he just went. He just went to go get some. Just need to be calm. So I don't normally wear rings, but I do like this one, like the snake. It actually represents to reform something, recreate. It's like I'm taken, but I'm open. Are you also Mormon?
I was Mormon.
Used to be.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Last night I was at a house party and there was a lot of nakedness. And
Yeah. We probably hang out in the same community then.
probably.
I love it. I'm sexy or nothing. Do you like vodka? Because that's what I brought. Doing hugs like for 2020, but we've done more than that. So
Just go take it.
are you also ex-Mormon? That's cool. There's a lot of active Mormons too, though, in the lifestyle. I've played with a wife who was Mormon, and she goes, like, she's a good friend of ours. It's a couple, and they go to church every Sunday. And I've done stuff with her, and I'm like, but they just, I don't know how they can do that, because when we were members, I felt so much guilt exploring that.
Sex and substances. Things can go upside down fast.
Not that way. I think it's this way.
Well, I like to finish my sessions with the two of you kind of talking to each other, if you don't mind. One thing I think that we totally kick ass on since our faith deconstruction is what?
Just like the sex stuff, I feel like if I was to go back from where we were and tell myself 2 years ago, like, hey, this is where we're going to be, like, I'd be like, I would almost not believe it, you know? So I feel like we've definitely kicked ass on that
Kicked
part.
ass at our sex life. I think we've kicked ass at being parents. I think we're doing real well for our daughter.
That's a good point, because I think about like all this stuff like that I think we would have put on our kid just because we thought that was the right way to do it. Like, I'm just so glad that we can have our kid grow up without these unrealistic expectations where she doesn't have to grow up with sexual shame or guilt. We can just totally love and accept our kids.
Yeah, I think we're really good. Yeah, I think that's where we're kicking ass. We're kicking ass at our sex life and being parents.
Yeah.
We were living our lives based on a playbook that was given to us by an organization. And that actually made our marriage difficult. So when we left the church, most people would think, okay, there's no doubt in our minds, they're definitely going to divorce. And I think our child really woke us up. We discovered that we could create the life that we wanted by just being open and honest with each other and writing our own playbook. And it was beautiful because then we discovered we are more alike than we thought.